Hello, Mr. Hill here with our maths lesson for today. We're looking at multiplying two-digit numbers by a one-digit number. So some vocabulary before we get started. Multiplication, it's the same as adding a number to itself a number of times. For example, 3 times 3 is the same as 3 plus 3 plus 3. We get the same answer both times. They both equal 9. Now, in a multiplication calculation, we have what's called the product. This is the answer to our multiplication calculation. So the product of 3 times 3 would be 9. We're going to start off looking at our first calculation here. We've got 3 times 27, and we need to work out what it equals. So we could do 27 plus 27 plus 27, which will give us the answer. We could do 3 plus 3 plus 3 and do that 27 times, which might take us a bit of a while. Or we could start using our multiplications. So we're going to start off with using place value counters and a grid. So I've got my grid here set up. I've got my hundreds column, my tens column, and my ones column. And I've put 3 rows on to show the numbers I'm multiplying. And in each row, I've put 2 tens to make 20 and 7 ones to make 7. So I've got 27 here, 27 here, and 27 here. Now, to solve the calculation, what I'm going to need to do, I need to do some exchanges because I can't have more than 9 counters in one place value column. And as we can see, we've got more than that here. So I've taken one group of 10 and I'm going to exchange those up. So I'm going to take those 10 ones and turn them into, that's right, 110. I'm going to take my next 10 ones and do exactly the same again. I'm now left with 1 1 in my ones column. And as 1 is less than 10, I don't need to do any more exchanges. I can now look at my tens column. So I can count up how many tens I've got in there. And I've got my 6 that I started off with from my original calculation and the 2 that I've exchanged up to make 8, which gives me my answer of 81. Have a go at this one for yourself. See if you can work it out. Pause the video here. Okay, let's work this through. We're going to start off by looking at the ones column over here. I've only got 6 ones, so I don't need to exchange. So I can write down 6 in my answer. I now need to move across and look at the tens. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 12 there. So I'm going to take 10 of those. I'm going to exchange them up to my hundreds. So I know 10 tens makes 100. And there we go, my 100 there. I'm now left with 2 tens in my tens column, which I know I can have because that 2 is less than 10. So I can put my 2 in there for my tens, and then I've just got my 1 for my hundreds to add in there. Well done if you got it right. Right, we're going to go back to our first question, 3 times 27. We did it using our place value counters. What we're going to do this time, we're going to write it out as a formal column calculation. So it should look like this. So I've got my 27 at the top and my 3 at the bottom. My first calculation I'm going to need to work out is going to be 7 times 3. So to help me out, there we go, I've drawn a nice blue line around it. I'm also going to write it down here. Now, you may notice I've got an extra row here as well. I wonder if you can work out what I might use that for. But I'm going to solve this calculation first, and then I'll reveal what we're going to do with it. So I need to work out 7 times 3. So I can use my place value counters, and I can count those up, and I know that I've got 21. I also know from my times tables that 7 times 3 is 21. So now we're going to have a look at this. We've got too many ones in the ones column, so I'm going to need to exchange across. How many groups of 10 do I think I'm going to need to exchange? Well, there's definitely 1. I'm going to exchange that over for my 10. There's 2. I'm going to exchange that across for my 10. I've got 1 left, which I can't exchange. So my next calculation is going to be 20 times 3, because I know if there's a 2 in the tens column, that's worth 20. There we go. So I've put my mark that around so I remember it. I'm going to write it down here as well. So I've got to do 20 times 3. So I've got, I can count them up here. I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. There's 60 there. So I can write that down here. Now all I need to do is add my 2 answers together. So what 3 times 7 is and what 3 times 20 is. And that will give me 1 in the ones column, which I'm going to write down there, and 8 in the tens column. And I can check that by looking at my place value grid. My answer is 81. Okay. Have a think, have a go at this one yourselves. Pause the video here. Okay, let's work this one out together. So we've got 3 times 8, or 8 times 3, sorry, to do first, which is 24. I've also got 60 times 3. Now what I can do with this, I know there's nothing in the ones column because there's a 0 in my 60. So I can just put 0 in there and then work out what 3 times 6 is. 3 times 6 will be 18, but in this case, because I'm multiplying in tens, it will be 180. Now I need to complete my calculation, so I'm going to add my 2 products together to get my final product. So I've got 4 add 0 is going to give me 4. I've got 2 add 8, which is going to give me 10. So I'm going to put my 0 here, and I'm going to exchange my 1. I've now got 100 here, and I've got another 100 to add on to give me 200. So my answer is going to be 204. There we go. Have a go at these questions. There's a place value grid there to help you with the first one, and a written method to help you with the second one. Pause the video here. Okay, we'll move on and we'll look at our answers. See how you got on. So we've got 6 times 34 was 204. And 6 times 28, I've even been really helpful there and written it all out for you so you can check your written calculation against my written calculation down here at the bottom. We should have 168. Well done if you got those correct. If you didn't, maybe rewind the last 2 minutes and just have a look over the method and make sure you've really understood it. We're going to move on. We're going to go back to 3 times 27. We've got our place value grid there. We're going to do this in the compact method now. So this takes away one of the lines that we need. So we get straight to our product. So my first calculation is still going to be in the ones column. So 3 times 7, which we've got there. We can count up on using our counters and we know we've got 21. How might we write this? Right, we've got an exchange there. So we've got to take our 2 tens across and we're left with 1. So there we go. I've exchanged my 2 tens across. I've got 1 left, and that's going to go in my row for my product. I've now got to do 3 times 20, or 3 times 2, which is 6, which would be 60. And I've got 20 I need to add on, which will give me a total of 80. So I have got a total of 81 for this answer. Okay. Here we've got 6 times 87. We're going to use the same method. So I've got 7 times 6, which gives me 42. So I'm going to have my 2 in my ones column, so that goes there. And my 40, I'm going to exchange into my tens column. I now need to calculate 8 tens, or 80, times 6. It gives me a total of 48 tens, or 480. I've got another 4 tens here that I need to add on. So 48 tens plus 4 tens is going to give me 52 tens. And I can write them here because I don't have another calculation to do here. So I've got 522 as my answer. Have a go at these questions. Pause the video here. Okay, I've got your answers here for you. Take a moment, pause the video if you need to, and check your answers. If you've got a few wrong, maybe go back, have another look over the method, make sure you've understood it. The reasoning question, we need to make sure, because we're talking about money, we've got it here, £5 per person, that we've given our answer in pounds and not just as the answer, or as the product even. Okay, thank you guys. I will see you tomorrow for another lesson when we move on, and we'll look at multiplying 3-digit numbers by 1 digit. Take care.